How do you get your team to actually use AI when they don't really want to? Over the last few months, I worked with leadership teams that went from virtually zero AI usage to using AI every single day. And what surprised me the most was that it almost had nothing to do with the AI tools themselves. Because after seeing dozens of companies with the exact same problem, I've learned that the leadership team makes usually the same 5 mistakes when rolling out AI across their organization or company. And the frustrating part about those mistakes is that they usually make people resist AI even more. So in this video, I'm going to break down what these mistakes are, why they happen, and how to actually successfully roll out AI across your team. Let's dive into it. Now, before we jump in, if you're watching this because you're trying to drive AI adoption across your organization, or you're just tired of AI licenses sitting unused, you might find this helpful. At Systems Department, we help companies implement AI in a way that actually gets used by your team. So, if you'd like help with identifying where AI can create the biggest impact across your organization and then actually building out the systems that your team will adopt, check out the link in the description. Now, back to video. Alright, so why bother getting your team to actually use AI? As the most leadership people I ask this question usually reply with something like, everyone's using it, we should do it too. And it's true, but it's not real reason why you should bother implementing AI and getting your team to use it. In reality, there is a couple reasons that you want to do so. First of all, if you make everyone on your team faster and efficient with AI, you can easily 1. Reallocate resources to money-making activities, for example sales and other activities that produce direct cash flow. Increase your revenue per employee and also overall revenue because you will again reallocate resources to money-making activities, and also remove the need to grow headcount as fast as you were growing before, because your people are much faster and efficient now, so they can take on works that used to require 2 or 3 people together. Now let's talk about the real problem. And the real problem is that the most teams resist AI for one of 3 reasons. First of all, they think that it will replace them. Nobody says this loud, but I will guarantee that they're wondering if getting good at this will make them redundant. So what they will typically do is they will just drag their feet and hope that the whole thing will blow over them and just go away, which doesn't really happen. So you just need to reframe them. The truth is that the people who get fast with AI become the ones you can't really afford to lose. They are doing the work of 2 or even 3 people, which makes them more valuable for the company and for the business. And in reality, it's completely vice versa. The ones who don't really adapt and use AI in their daily workflows are the ones who are really easy to cut from the team. So what you should probably do is go and say this out loud to your team and declare it, and make them really understand that they should really try to use it, because it not only helps you as a business owner, but also helps them to basically double their output and produce more with less. Another reason teams resist AI usually is that they tried it once and it was bad, and then they just gave up on it. So most of the times what happens is that they just type something vague into the AI or LLM and then get a generic response and just conclude that it's overhyped, based on this limited and one-off experience, which is totally reasonable conclusion, by the way. And what they usually need is just a bit more hand-holding and practice, because most of them probably have never seen how an expert uses it and prompts it, frameworks and tools he uses, and features like projects and skills that exist, essentially making your workflows really easy to follow and replicate. And the final reason most teams resist AI is because nobody really showed them what good actually looks like. There's actually a huge gap between knowing that AI exists and how to actually use it. And the thing is, the space is just moving super fast and it's super easy to be left behind and get overwhelmed. And what ends up happening is that these people don't really know what to type, what tools to use, what prompts to use, and they don't want to look clueless in front of other people and get embarrassed, so they just delay learning AI or don't use it at all. And the good thing about all of these are that they are fixable, so let's go through all of them step by step. So how to actually drive and get adoption at your company? We do it through leadership. Your job is to go first and show them the way. The thing is, your team is watching you, so if you aren't really using it, they won't probably use it too. You need to lead by example. And what I mean here is that you should use AI publicly in meetings or on shared docs out loud. For example, you can just say that you use Claude to draft this, and here's what it changed, how it looked before, and how I perform this task now. And if you're skeptical of it yourself, they'll smell it and then use it as a permission to just opt out of using it, which you don't really want to. Another thing you should really try to do is set the standard for what good looks like. You should absolutely share the outputs you are proud of, share the ones that were garbage and explain why they were garbage, and make it a regular part of team conversation, not just a one-time announcement like here's AI tools, go use them. Don't do that. Finally, and this is probably the most important point in here, is that you should remove the fear around it. People are scared of looking dumb, looking replaceable, or doing it wrong. So your job is to make all of these 3 excuses feel safe. The fastest way to solve this is to visibly suck at something yourself and keep going anyway in front of your team. Basically humiliating yourself a bit in front of your team and show them that nobody is going to judge you and nobody will look at you differently when you will use AI. Now this leads us to the second point which I'm trying to make here is training, which is to actually teach them, not just introduce AI tools to them. Yo team, here's ChatGPT, Claude licenses, good luck. This isn't going to work, as you understand, you silly goose. Ideally you should just pick one use case per person and then write the exact prompt or pick the tools for them and just show them how they can use them. For example, you can map out the most tedious repetitive task in each person's job and then help them to create the actual AI workflow for them, not just make them figure it out. For example, for customer service, you can just create a template prompt for drafting responses to complaints. For marketing team, you can just go and show them how to repurpose content into 10 different pieces in 30 seconds. For finance department, you can show them how to summarize a spreadsheet or even create a full report with just a few prompts into the cloud. For any other operations, you can just turn messy meeting notes into a clean action item list. Another thing you should do is run a live session on real work, not just a product demo or just slides about AI. But open a real task your team hates doing and just show them how would you do it with AI. Show them the workflows, the tools and the prompts that you would use. Also show them the failures and the experimentation process of how you figure actually out how to apply AI here. Let them to even try to use AI themselves in the same session with you in the room. And just 20 to 30 minutes, ideally once a day, is enough to just drive adoption and make sure your team adopts AI as a regular tool in their tech stack. Another thing which is absolute game changer is to build a shared prompt library. Every time someone opens ChatGPT from scratch, they usually start with a blank cursor. And this is the real barrier that people are having because they just have to retype the same thing over and over again during the day. And nobody wants to do it. So what you can do is just start a Google Doc or just a Notion database with 10 prompts labeled by task. For example, based on the previous examples. For drafting client update emails, for summarizing meeting notes, for responding to a frustrated customer, and any other thing and tasks that you have at your business and you would like to apply AI to. Make it super easy to copy, tweak and run. The blank page kills the momentum. Now, another key thing when adopting AI is normalizing experimentation and failure. And I already touched a bit on this, but I want to expand and dive deeper. So this is a part that determines whether adoption actually sticks in your team. You need to make it safe to suck at it to then achieve greatness. And you probably heard the saying that it takes 10,000 hours just to master something. So it's super silly to just have your team use it for a couple days and then expect them to be masters at AI. That won't happen. And most people's first outputs will be mediocre. And that's super normal, by the way. And the key thing here is to make sure they aren't judged or looked differently. If they will feel like they're judged for sucking at it, they will stop trying and it will kill your momentum of AI adoption. A good thing here is to just run a bad output session and share not even your teammates' failures, but even your personal failures when using AI. And instead of criticizing people, just cheering them up and really showing them the way and guiding them to how to use AI in your company. Another thing is celebrating the small wins publicly. If someone finds a banger AI use case for a task, you should absolutely say it in a meeting and just share it with the other teammates. If someone also found a prompt that works for the whole team, put it in the prompt library I talked about previously and give them the credit for it. Essentially, you are trying to create a culture where trying the stuff is rewarded, not just succeeding at it. Also, which is super obvious but I have to say it, let people make mistakes. AI will sometimes give wrong answers, it may hallucinate, and that's fine. The goal isn't to just trust AI blindly, it's to help your people and even yourself to build judgment about when to trust it and when to check its output. Let people find the edge cases themselves. Debrief when something goes wrong. What happened and what should we do differently next time so it doesn't happen again. And over time, you and your team will get a sense of where AI is reliable, where it fails, and where it needs oversight. Now, let's talk about how to make it actually stick. How to build the habit of using AI inside of your company. And there are a couple things here. First of all, you should build it into the process itself, not the culture. You should pick one recurring task per person and make AI part of the steps. Not the optional, not encouraged, but just shows them and says that this is how we will do this thing from now on. For example, if that's meeting notes, instead of writing them by hand, have them use AI to summarize them, or just even use AI tools that do this for you. Weekly reports, same thing, just shows them how to connect your systems or upload data to cloud and how to then prompt the AI to create the AI report for them. Another thing is creating a feedback loop. Check in them after 2 weeks, what's working and what's not, and just try to figure out where they're stuck and how you can really help them to basically move forward. Sit with them, look at what they're typing and help them tighten it and improve. 9 times out of 10, the fix is more context in the prompt. Another thing is accountability without pressure. Make sharing AI use a normal part of your one-on-ones or team meetings. What I also always recommend to do is just create a public channel in Slack or any other messengers that you use at your organization where everybody will share what's working with them, where they're stuck, prompts, resources, and anything else related to AI. Make them help each other out. And make sure to recognize the people who are experimenting, even if the results aren't perfect yet or they still suck at it. So here's your 30-day plan on how to roll out and drive AI adoption in your organization. For week 1, I want you to map out the most repetitive task per person, pick that as starting point and write the prompts for them and just brainstorm on what tools they may use and how to get AI into their workflows. For week 2, run a live 20-minute session on real work with those people. No slides, but just open a task and show it how you do it with AI. For week 3, you should already probably have team using AI, so make sure that everyone shares one win in a team meeting. Even just saving 15 minutes counts. Share the winning use cases, tools and prompts into a shared Slack channel. And finally, week 4, review what's working, find the 1-2 people who are the furthest ahead, I call them AI champions by the way, and have them educate the rest of your team so you no longer need to do it. So that was kinda it. I hope this was genuinely helpful. See you in the next one.